I guess the Oxford men must have won the toss. I'm thinking they would have chosen Surrey, and this race will be off very shortly. Leander need to get an advantage on this first bend if they are going to predominate around that long Surrey bend post Hammersmith Bridge.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like I said before, Jack's a very experienced. Cox on the tideway now, having had that experience in the boat race, so he'll know exactly what the tactics will be from either station. But yes, they're going to have to get off very, very hard.
Both Coxes with their hands up at the moment. Is that something you're used to as rowers?
Yeah, I think the coxswains never want to be in the worst position, so it's a bit of a mind game when they're going to put them down, but it looks like we're about to get a start here.
Yeah, that's Sir Matthew Pinsent, the umpire. You could probably tell his voice if you're an aficionado of boat race. Like the way Oxford have gone off, really clean, really tidy, really cohesive. And Leander offered a high rate of striking. But yeah, my first real look at the dark blue boat, and I'm impressed.
Yeah, I think Oxford actually dealing with this slightly rougher stuff, almost a bit better than Leander at the moment. Leander look a little bit all over the place with their blades, but I'm sure as they settle they'll get better. But I'm really impressed with this Oxford crew off the start.
How much do these Leander boys want this race? They want to beat Oxford. I mean, how important is it for them? Because obviously Oxford, it's massive just before the boat race. But what about Leander?
Well, you know, I said about the head of the river race earlier. This is a very strong Leander crew, and their main opposition is going to be that Brooks crew that we just saw. So they're going to be wanting to get this really good racing experience on the tideway, so they're best prepared to win that.
Well, Oxford have the advantage, a very good looking Oxford crew that their amazing coach Sean Bowden has put together, and to be fair, Leander haven't had the best of times in terms of rowing on the river. They've had to contend with illness, COVID and such, and not had that many outings, certainly not as many as Oxford. But, you know, we can leave the excuses to one side, because as you told us in the crew intro, Angus, this Leander crew is absolutely stacked. Yeah,
exactly. I'm just looking at... quite interesting in the Leander crew, they have two rowers in the middle of the boat on bow side. In rowing terms, we call that a bucket rig. Now, luckily, that's on the outside of the two crews. So I think that if they're going to clash, like looks like they are doing now.
Whose fault is that clash?
So I'd say that's probably Jack, the Leander Cox. He's looks like he's steering into them, but it looks like he's corrected his mistake now.
What are you seeing, Grace?
What's interesting, I think, comparing it to the fixture we watched just before, where the Cambridge women came in really close to the bank, these crews seem to be taking the opposite, and it seems like Jack kind of put his crew in a bit of a position of having to dodge a few blades, and to me it looks like the Oxford crew is a little bit looser in the upper body and are managing to deal with the bumpy water and the clashes a little bit better from it, whereas maybe a little bit more tension in the Leander crew. But yeah, it's making them work for it.
I think actually, so it's actually a deliberate tactic from Jack to go for the clash. Oxford had jumped out to a bit of a lead there, and you know, just to try and disrupt them, you want to check that momentum that Oxford had got by causing a clash.
Yeah, I just wonder whether Leander might have started to move back a little bit now. I was going to say Oxford are going to move away and win as they wanted. And just a result of the Cambridge Blue boat up against Oxford Brooks. Oxford Brooks won by 1.5 lengths. So this is the dark blue boat. Oxford on the left, looking very good. Leander, bit of a shaky start. They seem to have got their act together back on this bend, and are now going to test Oxford, which is exactly what Sean Bowden and the Oxford boys want.
Yeah, absolutely. They you know, win or lose. Obviously, they want to win this and have a winning result going into the boat race. But ultimately, what Sean wants to see is like really good responses to challenges.
Whoa!
Big clashes. He wants to see really strong responses to challenges that are being presented by a very strong Leander crew.
So Leander Crew on the right of your picture have come back into it. They need to, because Oxford are going to have the advantage of the longer Surrey bends. And that cohesive boat, they're really nice, as you were saying, Grace, just off the back turn. Nice recovery. Looks like Sean Bowden's done a great job with them. Leander still there, maybe move back a little bit, and a lot of pride at stake, as you said, with this. The Leander boys preparing for the head of the river, a lot of GB internationals, the outstanding Dowie de Graaf in the 6th seat, and what wouldn't any crew give to have that lad in the stern of the boat. And Leander are moving back on Oxford.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking at the Oxford strokeman, Elliot Kemp, and he looks really calm, really relaxed, and also really strong. He's really powering that Oxford crew along. And in the next couple of minutes, perhaps if they decide to make a bit of a move on Leander and make the most out of this inside bend, and he's got to be the one to lead that. And I think he's doing a fantastic job. Big push coming up at Harrods. Potentially, it's a traditional place where you might push in the boat race. But you might be if you're on the Middlesex and responding to a move, or if you want to make a move. It's we see a lot of moves around that part of the race.
Interesting enough, I think as the race has gone on, I feel like the Leander crew has seemed to relax into it a little bit more. They looked a bit tense at the start, and they looked like blades are hitting and tensions are coming in, but maybe as they've gotten a little bit more and more tired, it looks like they've relaxed. Even despite all the clashes and everything going on, I feel like they're only looking better and better as it goes down the course. And we've talked a lot about the bends in these fixtures, and it looks like they're not too phased about it and are trying to kind of stamp their mark before really giving Oxford the advantage on the inside.
What a cracking race we've got for you today. This is absolutely fantastic. Both crews dead level, blades interlocking, coming up to Hammersmith Bridge. We've got another 5 minutes of racing. Call it, Angus.
I can't call it just at the moment. It's going to be a fascinating next couple of minutes to see who kind of takes the initiative and actually puts the pressure on the other crew. But I think this is really valuable experience for both crews, actually. Like having a crew so close to you. The boat race is all about a mental battle. It's about who can sit in the pain the longest and put the pressure on the other crew, and who's going to be the first one to crack. And Oxford's preparation here, they've just got to stay calm and believe in themselves.
You can really hear the umpire having to work for it in this one. I think he's got his work cut out for him. But both crews are handling it very, very well, and both crews also look like they've got still the steps to step up. So it's when the first crew is going to make the choice to actually be like, okay, now's the time we're going to have to go.
If Leander win this will be a massive win on the outside of the bend. And Jack Totem, the former Oxford cox,
big crab.
Leander have got the best out of that. Will the umpire stop them? They've lost their blades, Oxford. Will he stop the race, Matthew Pinsent, and restart? He will. Oh my God! Talk us through what you saw, guys.
Well, it looked just a bit. I think that was James Doran in the 4th seat there, I believe. Yeah, just unfortunately got his blade turned, and in that situation, rather counterintuitively, you've always got to hold on to the oar as hard as possible. Make sure that it doesn't get flipped by the opposition's blade.
I must get a plug-in for James Doran. He's never been the same oarsman since he rowed with me. I think he was a schoolboy and I was an old man. He's gone on to great things.
James is a fantastic oarsman, and I'm sure he'll be he'll make sure that he will not make that mistake in the actual boat race. But these things happen, and it's all good experience to.
Okay. Whose advantage is it now? We're doing a restart. We've got about 4 minutes of racing, maybe 3.5. Whose advantage? Who's going to win?
It's a hard one to call. I think it looked like Leander was getting into a really good rhythm there. This is going to give Oxford the chance to sit, reset, and kind of keep clear of the Leander crew, who's like persisting on sort of putting the pressure on them, being really, really close. If they can kind of head for their inside corner at the start, I think this might work in their favour.
I think also the physiological impact of the piece that they've just done. Okay, Oxford probably just had a slightly faster start, and they're going to be feeling a lot of lactic acid. They're in a whole load of pain, and now they've just stopped and they're going to have to go again. You're just wondering who's that last piece, who's it taken more out of?
Yeah, and as you said, Grace, Leander were a bit sort of rushed, a little bit less relaxed than the Oxford crew off that previous start, but
good stuff,
they look to have gone into the lead off of this start now.
You can really see, it looks like you can see the fight that Leander is having in this race, and they are not here to lose. But the Oxford crew is just sort of like embracing every challenge and doing really well with it. But it's a very aggressive Leander crew.
Oxford moving. We think you heard the voice there of Angus Groom, boat race winner with the Dark Blues in 2022. And Oxford have got a little bit of a bend on their side, and then both crews know it is a sprint. Oxford at 41, Leander at 39.5.
Yeah, I think the approach has changed. It's all about winning now. It's not about settling onto a long distance rhythm. It's who gets to the finish line first.
I think this second piece is definitely a drag race, right?
Oh, it is sensational, but it doesn't matter if Leander get this by 1 foot. It's bragging rights, isn't it?
It is, and I think it's just wonderful that we're getting such a close race.
And Jack Totem is not going to steer into Oxford. I think Leander have that extra advantage. Again, we've talked about the guys in the Leander 8, the fantastic crew of Harris, Pryor, Beeson, Bannister, Schroeder, Dowie de Graaf, the prodigy who did so well in the GB trials just a week or so ago, Turnell, and Matt Rowe in the stroke seat, coxed by Jack Totem. They are up and moving, aren't they?
They want this. They are absolutely powering that boat along. But Oxford are sticky in there. They haven't let them go yet.
No, and I think the race has probably got about 30-40 seconds to run, and Leander still up very high with the rating. Oxford have impressed me throughout this fixture, and they continue to impress now. I think with their composure, they're up against a very strong crew, but the boys in dark blue are doing really, really well.
They'll be in a lot of pain now. I think having that stop and start, it affects you a lot. The lactate acid just like kicks in, and then having to do a short sprint to the finish line. Oh, it's intense. You
can just see Harry Glenister there, just had a bit of a clash
and
again.
Stokes lost his blade.
Leander's stopped as well now.
Oh, what's going to happen? Is he going to restart? Oh, we haven't seen a big crab like that. Will Oxford go through and win? Oh my God, did Oxford win that fixture? Who's going to take the result? Someone in Oxford holds their arms out to say, we've won. And Leander had it there. What was Jack Totem doing?
So Jack's known to be a little bit of an aggressive cox.
Why did he do that? Because they were winning.
I know. I think you just look. You want to be able to dominate your opposition, and perhaps he felt like he had a bit of an upper hand there. But both coxes, I think they're very experienced, and they don't want to let their crew down. And perhaps that was the wrong call then, but it was the right sentiment, I think.
Grace, is your call?
Oh, there's a lot happened in there. They're
out to like 3/4 of a length.
You can see it looks like he's starting to try and clear out, but it's a little bit.
Oh no! Is it the Oxford Cox?
I think it's the Oxford Cox going in.
Oh, disqualify Oxford.
Yeah,
right.
My apologies to Jack there. Yeah, I didn't see that properly. It looks like Will was just slightly wide on that bend.
Will Denbury.
Yeah,
he was moving across to Leander, wasn't he? So Jack Totem, you're fantastic. You're in the clear, mate.
Yeah, and actually, it may well have benefited Oxford from cutting the corner a bit more.
Do you think Matt Pinson's going to disqualify Oxford, his own university, from that piece?
Well, it definitely, Oxford was coming into the Leander crew at the end, and they managed to sneak through to the win. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays this out. I'm sure he'll be sitting there having a little bit of an internal dilemma on what to do here.
I think they ought to go back to Hammersmith Bridge and do another drag race.
That's what the fans want to see. Actually, interestingly, Cross, you said about the umpires being from different universities. We were actually told that you don't really want an umpire from your own university because they don't want to be seen as biased.
Yeah,
so actually, like as an Oxford person, you want a Cambridge umpire and vice versa.
I know there was a famous boat race, wasn't there, when was it Rupert Obholzer, Dark Blue, was umpiring, and there was a clash, and he stopped them. And I think maybe Oxford were up when they clashed, but he started them level. And did Cambridge go on to win? I might have got that wrong. I'm sorry, because there'd be lots of aficionados watching this, but that might be an example. And the two crews are together. Are they showing some bromance there between the crews, or are they going to go back and race again?
Oh, I don't know. I think there's a lot of friends between the two boats, so I'm sure there's no hard feelings between the two.
Oh, do you reckon? I wouldn't say that.
Well, mate,
I've sworn a lot at people I knew that were in the dark blue boat I was racing.
I think it's entertainment. I think as a rower you like being in an exciting race, as chaotic as it is, but it makes you think about other things. You're thinking about the clashes, you're thinking about the other crew, so I'm sure in the end they were all wanting to win, but it's exciting to be a part of, and it's entertaining.
Certainly, I think that's that having two crews so close together, it's just fantastic preparation for the boat race, where Cambridge looked fantastic as well, and both men and women's crews. I can't wait for boat race day because I think we're going to get some cracking racing. Yeah.
It is going to be absolute. I said it from the first few strokes. I thought, oh, very punchy dark blue crew, and we are going to get a verdict. Look at a verdict here, and there is no result in that fixture. Oh, hang on, wait. Oh, no. Oxford Blue Boat on Surrey, Leander on Middlesex. Oxford University win, Leander DQ'd at Furnivall. So that's the first piece. So Matt Pinson disqualified Leander and then let them race for that little last bit, which was a blast, and there was no result at Chiswick Steps.
There's a lot to unpack in that.
Yeah. So we didn't know that Matt Pinson. Actually, I don't know which tie he was wearing. He could have been a dark blue, but he could have been wearing the Leander tie, of course, because he used to row for Leander.
Absolutely.
I'm sure he's a member.